And welcome to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT Magazine Radio Network. Anyway,
was I supposed to too?
That's okay.
That's okay.
Next time.
I'm Steve Levine. I'm Executive Publisher of Small Business Today Magazine.
I'm Barbara Davis Levine, Associate Publisher, Creative Director, Head Writer, and Editor for Small Business Today Magazine.
Is that all? Is that all?
I can do some more things.
No, that's okay.
I can take over sales and kick you out on your
And we are your co-host for this show, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and works in tandem with the magazine, which is both digital and hard copy. Small Business Today Magazine, and we're changing up the website. We'll talk about that.
That's right.
One more approval to transfer it over, and we'll have a whole new website, digital edition, enhanced, and archives, and everything. So, centerpiece of the magazine is a cover story about somebody, a entrepreneur who's built a successful business practice here in Houston, and now serves as a role model for this and future generations of entrepreneurs. That's the centerpiece about their life and about their business and the challenges they had. Everybody likes reading a success story.
That's right.
Doesn't have to be this
As opposed to you, the failure story.
Why'd you go there? Why'd you do that?
Because I'm being a doo-doo head.
Yeah, you are. You'd be a major. But ignore her. She'll stop. Okay. All right. So anyway, we're back. And yes, it's a successful magazine, and we'd love putting it out there to help aspiring entrepreneurs and small business owners achieve their dreams of big business success. Before I go further, and we're going to talk about the
takeaway notes.
Takeaway notes.
Got to talk about those.
We know the most important thing you're looking for from a cover story is their words of wisdom. Their
best words of advice.
If you had taken them out to dinner and bought the best steak and lobster dinner and asked them what their advice would be for your startup business or your small business.
You can even take for tacos, just as long as
they'll talk, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And value their time. This is what they would tell you. And some things are in every article, like about generosity, which is one of the factors about how somebody gets nominated for the cover. And things like be best friends with your banker, be best friends with your attorney, financial planner, update your business plan every year or more often than that. But there are some very profound pieces of information that they've given, like even the worst idea executed is far superior to the best idea you only think about. And you heard some today from Pat Weiss, which are very
Yeah, some powerful ones, but we'll save that for the next. Those are special when our magazine comes out.
But
you need to take your mic and point it towards your chin. I know you can't see it.
No, I can't.
You're playing Stevie
Wonder.
Wonder.
Why I'm wearing the sunglasses.
That's right. He's
today.
playing Stevie Wonder today.
Where's the keyboard? Because I had eye surgery last Monday, and still I'm not supposed to even have them open. Really, it's supposed to be just resting my eyes, but can't do that.
That's a surgery as a result of the head injuries from the flood.
That's right.
We're still coming back from the flood.
Our website, by the way, if you want a complimentary digital subscription, we haven't launched a new one, but you can still get a complimentary digital subscription at sbtmagazine.net.
Or smallbusinesstodayMagazine.com.
Either one will take you there. You can read magazines in the archives, and there's something to learn from every cover honoree and all the great editorial.
Right. I suggest that everyone take the time to at least go to every archive and look at the do's and don'ts, takeaway notes at the end of every story, and make a compendium of business practices from that. In addition, put a star next to duplications. If you see everybody saying it, then what's the clue look like? You definitely want to incorporate that into your everyday business practices.
And you'll see generosities right up there.
Absolutely.
Because that's one of the most component parts of what we asked our advisory board to make a nomination for is how someone gives back to the community, industry, or their fellow man, whether it's to be branded to an event or whether it's just because of the goodness of their heart and they believe in the charity. There is a relationship between one's generosity and their success level. It may not be in direct proportion to what they contributed or donated, and it may not come right away. Sometimes blessings are in God's time and not your time. So, but we like sharing stories and events that we think you should participate in. We recommend to you certain not-for-profits and charity events. And the lady to my right and Barbara's left is Gary Meacham, and she heads up a group called True Vines, an event coming up called Hopeful, and we'll let her Barbara's going to do proper introduction.
I'm going to do
tell us
proper
more.
introductions. I know that you can't right now.
I don't have anything in front of me. I can't read
know.
it.
But you didn't
Did it come
talk.
in Braille? I don't know.
But also we want to talk about, not only does Small Business Day magazine have these great articles about great people giving inspiration to educating, motivating, inspiring anybody that's starting a business or is already in business. It's also all the great articles that I scrutinize every one that there's no infomercial. We do profiles, special features on chambers of commerce, nonprofits, other organizations. But the main centerpiece is the cover story. And in addition, we are not just a magazine. Obviously, we are a talk show. But more importantly, we are events and introductions is really what sets us apart from anybody like us. And
wow.
So that's what we're all about. And look forward. A really exciting new website is coming out. And all the major organizations that we tie in with will be able to post their calendar of events directly into our site, so it'll be a master calendar. So that's going to be to look forward to. Also, you'll be able to hit interests such as a charity. You'll hit that, and you'll be able to see issues or articles about charities. About social media. You hit that, you'll find all the articles about social media.
It'll have its own search engine by topic.
Right.
So if somebody needs a business plan, here's all the articles that were written on it, business financing, the social media, as Barbara said, email marketing campaigns, what makes them work or not, what's the SBA really looking for, 6 mistakes that startup entrepreneurs make, 4 drastic measures to turn your business around now, doing business with China, networking with people from Japan. It's got a lot of great content that we've covered over the last almost 3.5 years now.
Right. As I said, we have terrific events. We also have we have a Lunch and Learn coming up tomorrow.
That's right.
Tomorrow with the fantastic Michelle Sissom.
That's
and
right.
she has these wonderful seminars that people come from all over the U.S. to hear about. Great motivational speaker. It is the cost of the lunch is only $14.95, and we have the pleasure of providing her without charging any extra fees, which is phenomenal. People pay thousands of dollars to hear her and go to her seminars. So we have that. It's from 11 to 1 at the Wyndham Energy Corridor.
Highway 6 at I-10. That's tomorrow at 11 o'clock networking, 11:30 go through buffet, grab your lunch, 11:40 we make the introductions, and she'll speak till about 12:30, 12:40 or so. We're going to change venues after that because they've gone up on their price. I don't know how I could do a buffet for $14.95. Amazing buffet, too.
Yeah.
But we're going to find another home for that and book another speaker.
But meanwhile, if you are interested, you can either contact Steve and let us know you're coming. It's at steve.levine@sbtmagazine.net, or you can give him a call since he can't really read today. It's 832-419-2814.
Either way, we'll save you a seat, and you will thank us for making sure you knew about
the
Chisholm.
best Lunch and Learn money cannot buy, literally.
Your topic is 3 conversion tips that help you close more sales now. And it's strong. And I know we're going to have a big following between Michelle and Sandy Lawrence and Michael Cantello promoting it, and Gail Stolzenberg.
Yeah, definitely call and reserve your seat before it's too late.
And we need some hopeful cards that we can put out there and make sure everybody gets covered.
Everybody knows about that.
It'd be wonderful.
And I do. What's our time frame here? What's our timekeeper?
We're doing this 20-minute set.
No, we were doing the 10. That's all right.
I've misunderstood.
That's okay.
Steve said 20.
Where are we at right now?
We're at 9 minutes right now.
Okay, well, let's go to break.
We'll go to break for 10 minutes, and we'll
Come back and introduce and talk about
the true
Gary.
spirit behind the hopeful event coming up November the 19th?
20th.
20th.
Yes.
20th.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about that and how it serves the community in Uganda. And remember, we were introduced to this group and a charity through
Maurice Evans, her son-in-law.
Just happens to be related to him.
That's right.
And he's just
And Maurice is a former LA Laker,
he called to make sure
Detroit.
we knew how much we're going to love you.
Yeah, as it was on the Orlando Magic, Detroit Pistons. Am I correct? I believe.
Right, and the Washington team also.
And he's into just all kinds of endeavors, all successful. And when he told us about this great contact, we jumped on it.
We're there. Anyway, we're going to go to break. We'll be back after these messages, and you're listening to Small Business Day Magazine Talk Show
on the SBT Magazine Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Paul Marcus, owner of Affordable Searches, your premier investigation company specializing in comprehensive background checks nationwide. Business owners know one of the most important things to do is the hiring of employees. However, if you make mistakes or you don't check them out thoroughly, this could lead to problems. Some of the problems may be unsafe business environment, possible violence in the workplace, negligent hiring, lawsuits, and a turnover of employees. Our website has a wealth of information for you to read and learn how to run the correct background checks. We are also available for free consultations at 1-877-685-6691. Visit our testimonials page to see what our current customers say about us.
And welcome back to Small Business Day Magazine Talk Show
on the SBT Magazine Radio Network.
And again, you see me in sunglasses. Yes, I am cool, but I have to wear these.
Too cool.
Eye operation last Monday, where both my eye muscles were worked on, manipulated, and surgery. And I'm supposed
because
to
of
have
his
my eyes
double
closed.
vision from the head injuries that we sustained the Memorial Day weekend.
And Jerome Davis,
we were
our
ground
engineer.
zero with a flood.
Oh.
Yeah, and Jerome Davis, our engineer, has been my seeing eye dog. I say seeing eye guy.
But he's been more that and a lot more, helping do just all kinds of things. And
Wow.
and then, of course, we have Ronald Coleman here, moviewhip.com, that he's much more than just a videographer. He has a whole company that does movie quality work and search engine optimization. So if somebody's looking to not just do an advertising campaign for themselves and do a commercial, he can tie it all in. So we've got some great people here.
And this lady's no stranger to video, by the way.
I know.
Or audiences.
I know.
or-
I'm going to read her bio. Do you mind if I read your bio?
I don't mind a
Okay.
bit.
And you can interrupt
You want
me.
me- Is it Braille? I'll read it.
Yeah, that's right. We'll put it in Braille when you learn how. Well, Gary, which is Gari, Meacham, Meacham, worked in the field of education for 20 years before pursuing her dreams of becoming a full-time writer, speaker, and leader in nonprofit ministry. She was an exemplary elementary school teacher for 16 years, chosen to serve as a national lab classroom by the Public Education Business Coalition in Denver, Colorado. And in this role, teachers from around the nation visited her classroom to observe techniques in reading and writing comprehension. She left the classroom in 2008 to serve as a full-time national consultant for PEBC. What is PEBC?
It just stands for Public Education Business Coalition.
Okay,
So,
that's
yes, a lot of big words.
Big words, big words. And then during her years teaching, she was nurturing her dream of writing by working as a reporter for a national sports magazine. Several of her features were cover stories, and one was published in the New York Times. That's amazing. In 2009, she had her first book published. And in 2011, she signed an impressive 3-book deal with Zondervan Publishing House. She has become a beloved speaker and teacher at some of the largest, most respected churches in the nation. As the founder and president of Vine Uganda, a community center serving vulnerable women and children in Uganda, she has garnished awards and recognition by the government of Uganda. Truly Fed Ministries, a nonprofit organization in Houston, Texas, has operated with a mission of inviting people to an authenticity with God by providing resources, events, and commitment to outreach on a global level. So that is exciting. Now, tell me, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Denver, Colorado.
I love Denver.
Yes, beautiful place.
As a favorite, I mean, I was always been a sports fan. You hear about women being sports widows. Well, it would have been the opposite if my husbands didn't like athletics. They were out of the picture because I love everything, especially football.
I'm a sport.
You are a sport. For marrying me, you got to put up with all my crazy stuff that I say to you because you're not.
Finally, a moment of
Yes,
truth here.
the truth is he's a big success. He's a national speaker, all these kind of things. so I was teasing. Anything I say, you take with a grain of salt because I'm always teasing.
Right. Okay. That's good. Yeah. Good to know.
Anyway, in addition, I had just a background, just doing all kinds of things, and it met a lot of athletes and different stuff. Oops, I'm talking. And we took a lot of groups to away games. Colorado, Denver was my favorite away place because the fans were just as lovely as I feel the Houston fans are.
Right.
And I went some very ugly places with throwing rocks and snowballs at people and shooting fingers at my mother, who was no spring chicken at the time, in her 70s. But Denver was lovely. We had snow on these benches at the stadium, but everybody was helpful and helped us get it off. So I really respect Denver, and I love the weather. Even when it was snowing and cold, it wasn't cold for me, and I just thought that was really exciting. So
right, so it's a beautiful place.
And now you grew up there. And then I understand that you were in some way related to the sports, not just writing about sports. You kind of connected with the sports.
Married into it.
Yes,
but
I did.
How did that happen?
Well, I started to date my husband in college. We went to San Diego State University, and he ended up a first-round draft pick in baseball, shortstop, and ended up shortstop for the Yankees.
Wow.
So all three of our kids were born in New York, and he played for 10 years, but he's been coaching and managing since then. So we've been
even
34
10 years is a pretty good stint.
He was a coach for the Astros. That's what brought us to Houston. Bobby Meacham.
Okay.
Yeah, 34 years in pro ball.
Is that wonderful?
A long time. Yeah.
I wrote a book on married to sports.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Definitely. I probably will someday.
I told you not only do I love sports, I was an athlete. Believe it or not, my little 5 foot tall self. I played semi-professional softball for the Houston Loreley's. I was a shortstop.
Wow. There you go. So you love the ball and the bat. And
I do. And I was very proud later on to be a coach. And I coached all my little ones. They were 4 and 5 year olds. And the first experience they had in baseball was me. And I taught them all to hit the ball. Every one of my kids could hit a ball.
Wow.
And my son couldn't run. He'd run and run like he was running in place or something. Everybody cheered when he made it to base. But that was so important to teach a child that foundation, make them feel successful. And the one thing I'll never forget, this one little boy, I'd missed the first day of lining up and seeing their skills, and I was having morning sickness at the time.
Oh my goodness!
With my daughter, and so I the next time I saw a little boy, he had perfect stance, he had perfect grip. Everything was perfect, and he missed the ball every time.
Wow.
It was 5 pitch, so the children it wasn't the T-ball where, they're not a challenge, but they had to hit a pitch ball. And I kept looking and observing, and everything was perfect. And suddenly the epiphany came on. I said, honey, what hand do you hold your fork with when you eat? And he showed me his left hand. I said, let's try this way. And I got him back holding it the same stance, same everything, but with a left-handed, and bam, he made contact. And I felt so proud that I made a difference in this child's life, could have affected his self-esteem for the rest of his life, not wondering why he was a failure in sports.
Right.
Because nobody realized, had that insight to see he was a lefty.
Exactly. That's
so
neat.
Anyway, going to New York, what part of New York did you live in?
Well, we lived in just outside the George Washington Bridge. So we lived in Bergen County.
Okay.
So just that area.
That's
Most
Steve's
of the
neighborhood.
Yankees, I heard that most of the Yankees didn't live, really near the ballpark. It's not often the safest neighborhood right around there. So we had bought our first little home there and had all 3 of our kids there. But then as baseball goes, we got traded, and we've been with so many teams, over the course of the years. But we love it, and we really see it as another ministry, really just another way to love people and help them, just in their ups and downs. It's a hard life, believe it or not. We moved 47 times in our first 10 years of marriage.
That's
47 times.
That's an upheaval.
It was it was.
We manage to lose something every time we move. I don't know where it goes. It just.
I know. It's
Somewhere-
just.
It's terrible. I mean,
Moving is not fun.
is in the
We
same
moved 3
equation
times to
as
Memorial
either
Day.
a death or divorce.
Oh,
It is
truly.
a traumatic thing. And then, of course, for the children, I know I went to 5 different elementary schools, but
that's a lot.
It's a lot. But it either makes you or breaks you. Either as a child, either you learn to be friendly and open up your mouth, even if you want to be shy, you
Right.
can't afford to be shy,
Right.
or you'll never have friends.
Right.
So, did your children end up being outgoing because of
They
that?
did. We have 3 kids, Brooke, Allie, and Colton. And Brooke and Allie, our daughters, are just 13 months apart. But
They
Brooke
call
was
those
always-
Irish twins, don't
yes,
they?
yes, they do. Yes, they do, for good reason. Brooke was always very outgoing, and Allie was really the shy one. But moving, they had been in 3 schools by the time she was in 1st grade. So moving so much really did pull her out of her shell. You know,
Right.
I think it worked the opposite on Brooke, but for Allie, it really was helpful. And Colton was too young. He wasn't. He was at. Once we got to Colorado, we stayed steady so that they could really get through
Well,
their
that's a
school
wonderful
years.
place to grow up
Yeah.
for children, especially. It's a lovely
Yeah,
area.
it was.
So, how about the ministry? Was it something that you developed from your family growing up?
No, not at all. Actually, what happened with that was, I think in my heart, I always knew I wanted to write books and speak and do that, you know, as a career, as my lifetime dream. But you know how it goes, raising kids, and
Life gets in the way.
That life gets in the way. And Bobby, after he played ball, he went back into the minor leagues, you know, coaching and managing, and there's just no money there. And so it really took the both of us working both full-time jobs. And he was managing and coaching, and I was teaching school. So when we saw that he finally got some big league coaching opportunities, so
right.
left the minor leagues. And when we saw that seem to stick, I was able to leave the classroom and really pursue my dream of writing books and getting them published, and then getting to speak, you know, more on a national level. I was doing a lot of local speaking and wrote for some magazines and other
You
publications.
said you were
but-
published New York Times, right?
Yeah. They picked up one of my articles. I wrote on athletes and their lives, and just a lot of feature pieces. And so, you know, once I got to see that dream fulfilled, then everything changed, and I started what I thought was going to be a ministry, just helping people with issues around food. I struggled early in my life in college with an eating disorder, and I struggled with both compulsive overeating and anorexia.
My dad too.
Oh my
Really?
gosh.
Overeaters Anonymous.
Oh, wow. Well, I was, you know, really on the verge of
Anorexia
taking my
can
life.
kill you.
and-
I mean, your health is
Oh,
so...
yeah.
My dad always used to say, it's not what you're eating, it's what it's eating you.
Yes, truly.
And his stemmed from his father not being a very loving and affectionate man and trying to please him. And that's where his
wow.
self-esteem issues always came from.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think for me, it just was an accumulation of a lot of things, and I kind of took it all out on food, and one day wanted to take my life.
Oh my
and
God.
I just got on my knees and prayed that day, and hadn't really ever done that before, and said, help me, Jesus. And, you know, at that point, my life changed. And so 20 years later, my first book is around freedom with food issues. And I thought maybe that was it. That was all I would really do, is help people in that area, which would have been amazing. But then I realized that God had a bigger plan. And so my books after that really deal with just broad topics and all kinds of things. And then the Uganda piece came even later. And that's just been a thrill to see that the ministry now includes not only writing and speaking and helping on so many topics in life, but also, you know, to be able to help the people of Uganda.
Do you find that, I mean, I have a little insight into the professional athletics because I had a travel agency that specialized in travel for entertainers and athletes.
Wow.
And I think there's a certain mentality that makes, because there are only a handful of basketball players, there's only a handful of professional football players, all of that. When you consider the millions and millions of people out there, there's only
right.
a
It's very
just
elite.
little, very, and I think it takes a special personality to push themselves that far. But in current in turn, it has another negative effect of extreme behavior.
Sure.
Because if they have the extreme adrenaline to push to be overachieving and surpassing everybody.
And the adulation of
Well, I mean, but that comes with it, because you're going to have groupies in any type of
Yeah.
area of success, whether you're president of the United States or
Right.
a mayor or any leader, even a corporate head, you're going to have groupies, and they prey on those individuals.
That's right.
And I don't see that there's really great programs, let alone for the players dealing with this, that are thrust into this limelight, and a support for the families. Had you encountered anything that addresses both of those areas?
Yes, it's a really great question. A lot of times it's such a transient life, especially in baseball, where you're with one team one year, you're with another team another year, or even within the same year. And one of the things that has been so beneficial for us, and now I often get to speak at it, and now we give back in a different way, is an organization called Pro Athletes Outreach. And
Wonderful.
they do conferences, and then, just offer themselves full time in the year too, to come meet you, speak with you, help mentor you. But this conference is amazing. It's a week long, and it's all around every topic, whether it's financial or marriage.
What about alcoholism and
Substance abuse?
Substance abuse.
They definitely will lead you in those right directions. But if that's the case, sexual issues with fidelity in your marriage. I do a lot of speaking on just the women in the game, because they often are lost.
Right.
The men get this attention, and they're 10 steps behind the man. And how do you keep, your self-esteem, and how do you figure out your calling and what God's really made you to do as well? And so that's been a great tool for us. And also in baseball, we have something called Baseball Chapel, where there's a network all around the country. So every week there are, and they come not just on the weekends for a service, but they come throughout the week to really walk alongside you and mentor you as needed.
That's great, because I said I believe the families are just as important as
Right.
the player. It's a whole support system.
Right, it is. That's exactly right.
So did you first get involved in ministering with your peers of other wives of athletes, or when did you first start doing that?
Yes, I did. We, like I said, we're on so many teams, and so I really started to try to really reach out and help the women on all the teams that we were on, whether it was the minor leagues or the major leagues. And sometimes that looked like just gathering them in my apartment and really building them up, or sometimes it looked like leading a Bible study or whatever that might have, whatever that role took on, mentoring women, whatever.
Wow.
And so then from there, just in the workplace, when I went into teaching, I realized, well, the same is needed for these families and families of students and my co-teachers, my colleagues. And then when I was a national consultant, I got to do that more on a national level too. So it's been a great ride. And now as the president of a ministry and a nonprofit, I think every skill, I often laugh that for so many years I said, oh God, I'm not doing what I want to do. But even in those years, the skill set was building. And so I just say that as an encouragement to anybody.
Has a plan.
That's right.
Always has a plan.
Because you
Yes, he
wouldn't have
does.
appreciated
That's right. Or been ready.
or been ready.
Yeah.
You would have had the maturation
Right.
to have know what you had to go through,
Right.
so that you can guide others behind you
That's
that are going
exactly
through
right.
the same thing.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So I do. I just look back with such tenderness, I used to pray, please, God, either tame me or unleash me, but I can't stay where I am now. And so in
No
the right
status quo.
timing,
Can't be
in the
status
right
quo.
timing, things happen.
Well, tell me, how did the ministry come about that you're helping in starting
Uganda.
the Vines in Uganda?
Yeah, the Vine in Uganda really it's a really amazing story. My first trip to Uganda, well, let me back up and say I never wanted to go to Africa. I never saw that as something that I would do, and it was
team down there.
there's no baseball team there, and I always was of the mentality, there's enough problems here in our own country or in my own neighborhood. So I always kind of stood on that hill. And what happened is a young girl from Colorado She was 19 years old. She had gone to Uganda to do an internship from her college semesters at Colorado University, and she was working at a really crooked orphanage in Uganda. It was absolutely a sham. They were taking the money and then basically prostituting the children, and it was just a horrible situation. And so she called her mother when she was supposed to come home and said, I can't leave here. I can't leave these children. So she had heard me speak. She started an orphanage there, and she had heard me speak, and I decided to go help her. So that kind of got me to Uganda.
60 Minutes had something about the baby, they had the adoptions, and they were the phony adoptions and all these terrible things, people trying to get the children and they wouldn't give them back, and then just a lot of crooked things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of corruption, and I really went with the intention. I took a team of teachers, and we did in service their teachers at an orphanage school to help them teach better concepts of reading comprehension. And while I was there, one night a young man in the hotel that we were at tapped me on the shoulder, a young Ugandan gentleman that worked at the hotel, and he said, "Why are you here?" He asked me questions, and he said, "Can you come back tomorrow night and explain your faith to me?" And I said, "Sure, I'd be happy to." And he was a Muslim young man. And so the next night, after a long day working at the orphanage and then doing some other work, I found him, and we climbed out onto a rooftop and I explained the love of God to him. And so he is now my partner.
Wow.
He's our executive director on the ground in Uganda. And yeah, it's really amazing.
That's wonderful. We're going to come back and hear more about this
And the
passage.
event coming up, we'll promote that.
Yeah,
How to get involved.
real quick. Yeah, let's go. Running quick, so let's go tell about that event coming up real quick.
Oh, sure.
Pictures during the break.
Yeah.
So we'll come back with that. And you're listening to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show
On the SBT Magazine Radio Network.
At Affordable Searches, our mission is to provide our customers with the most thorough background check possible to protect you, your employees, and also your business. We do so by contracting with companies across the country that provide us with the best information possible and in a quick turnaround time. Our turnaround times average anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. Our pricing is very competitive, and we are always here for you. We're always here to answer any questions you have. Please give us a call at 1-877-685-6691, and we'll be glad to answer each and every question that you have.
And welcome back to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show
On the SBT Magazine Radio Network.
We're having a great time talking to Gary Meacham about her event coming up, which is
The Vine Uganda Hopeful.
And that'll be
And that's
November-
HOPE, then FULL
That's right.
event
Lowercase with a dot in the middle.
on November 20th.
Right, good.
On November 20th at Hotel Derrick, right?
Right.
That's here in Houston.
We are very-
And how can people find out about how to get tickets and
Yes.
maybe donate or participate?
She never
Absolutely.
asked, right? She
Oh,
probably
no,
wrote
I
that
love
in,
that. Thank you for mentioning it. They can simply just go to hopefulevent.com.
So that's HOPEFULL event.com.
Yep. And right there, it'll have the menu of speakers and how to buy a ticket, all the details of the
Tell
night.
me about some of the speakers. Is anybody special going to be there?
Yeah, well, we've got Clayton Jennings, who's a real well-known speaker and spoken word artist, and people are really traveling from state to state to hear him
Wonderful.
speak right now. So, some of the younger people just cannot wait to hear him, and I think that's really
He's not
been a big
related to
draw.
Waylon Jennings. Huh?
No, not related to him. No. And then we have a pastor from a real vibrant, new, fantastic church here in Houston called Hope City. And then, of course, I'll be speaking, and I'm excited about that. And then we have an MC that's from South Africa, and he's
Lovely.
so entertaining. And a band and all of that. So lots of great entertainment.
Wonderful.
And you'll start with a cocktail party, is that right? At 6?
Right,
And
right.
Then, the silent auction. and roll into the dinner.
Are there any
Right.
celebrities involved in the?
All kinds. Yes, a lot of sports. We're honoring Robert Ory.
Oh, wonderful.
7-time NBA All-Star legend, you know,
Right.
so we're real happy to have him with us that night. And then we'll have several NBA players and some Major League Baseball players with us. So that'll be really great. And just a neat collection of age.
I know Maurice will be there, right?
Of course, Maurice will be
Absolutely.
there. He's
Anybody that wants a crick in their neck fixed, just all go there and look up at him.
That's right.
It'll straighten that crick out real quick.
Yes.
6'5", all
6'5".
Yes, he
I think he's a
is.
real tall 6'5", if you ask me.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah, he's a.
I think he needs to measure
beautiful
himself.
man.
I think he's a lot taller than 6'5".
We've been invited to be his guest, and we are bringing some guests. Hope some
Oh,
people-
how wonderful! I didn't know you guys are going to be there.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
Doesn't Allie tell
Oh,
you, right?
well, listen, we've been so crossing with
Yeah.
my speaking schedule and hers, and with everything that's going on. But that's so wonderful.
We will be there. We're
And we're
bringing
donating
some-
a wonderful
Yes.
item that anybody
Two items.
two items.
Multimedia package worth $3,500, including a full page ad.
And I'm going to donate you. Take my husband, please.
I was going to donate you. So, yeah.
Oh my, those will be big bids.
You and
Those
the
will be
cook
big
for a
bids.
day.
Oh no, that they would have to sue you for a dead cook. Yeah, I know the reason they have a kitchen is it came with a house.
Oh, that's right.
But we
oh,
will be there.
goodness.
We're bringing some guests as well, besides our partner John Cruz, and we put up 2 silent auction items. One is a $3,500 multimedia package, and includes invitations to our VIP launch party.
By invitation only.
Wow.
And also a radio show appearance with all the bells and whistles. So
And
we
of
have
course,
two
an
different-
ad in the magazine.
Yeah, that's
two different
wonderful.
two different packages that we have offered up in silent auction, and whatever you don't have, ask us. We'll try to find it.
That's right. And in addition, they have an opportunity to be a guest at our Lunch and Learn event. That too.
Oh,
So-
that's
Which
wonderful.
we're having one tomorrow. Michelle Sism.
That's right.
And that she
November
is a
10th, 11 a.m.
phenomenal motivational speaker.
Wow.
She's
The Wyndham Hotel.
Wyndham Hotel at the Energy Corridor, Highways 6 and I-10.
Right.
Off of Highway 6 and I-10. And if people want information, they can go to steve.levine at sbtmagazine.net.
Or you go to my Facebook page or Small Business Today, and the posters up there give you all the information you need. $14.95 or whatever it is for
That's all.
lunch, and the speakers.
And people spend thousands of dollars
Yeah.
at least for her. So this is a really opportunity
great.
for people that didn't have the funny money to spend on her events, but to come and get a taste of
Right.
great food and,
Right.
and hearing Michelle.
That's
How
wonderful.
many people are you expecting at your event?
Well, they capped the room at 350, and we're I think about 1 to 2 tables short of selling out. So we're really close to sell out. So we're excited.
Maurice
And
said, if you want to bring more people, buy another table. I said, Maurice, that's fine. We don't need that many.
oh goodness, we have an interview on Fox News on Thursday,
All right.
and that'll be fun. And I think we were hoping we could put some more tables in the room, just because it always seems people wait till the last minute to
Yeah.
buy tickets. But we've had a steady influx, and so I think we'll
Wonderful.
be sold out by the end of
So-
the
I
week.
hope our videos have helped, and the audio links and the
Oh,
the
yeah.
repeat shows and everything we've done, social media.
Thank you so
We're
much.
as kind of unofficial media sponsor.
Right,
One of them.
right.
But it's all based on our introduction to Maurice and his generosity and his willingness to help us as we were helping him. It was like a outdo each other kind of thing.
I love that. Yeah,
And
that's
how,
great.
that's how it works. So
Let me ask you a question. This is something, we have there's so many nonprofits out there. There's so many needs for people supporting. How did you decide to select just one? I mean, it's very hard, don't you think?
It is. And, when we first applied to be a nonprofit to receive that status, I thought it was just going to be domestic here in the United States, really helping mainly with women's issues. And I had mentioned some of the food issues, and then broader than that, more so just helping with women that are struggling and need that boost, need the confidence and the help of God. And so I thought it would really just sort of stay in that realm. Well, then when I ended up in Uganda, and the story that I shared about Vianney, who I call my Ugandan son, with his life, and he and I partnering together. Now we're also an NGO, which is a non-governmental organization. There we have that status in Uganda. And so, to have both the nonprofit and the NGO running, I keep laughing and I say that I'm really not the best of businesswomen, but I keep telling God I'm not one, and He keeps saying, "Quit telling me what you're not," because I guess I'm able. But I seem to just go where the need is, and my heart really beats for women, and obviously now for orphans and the vulnerable women in Uganda. We now have a product line that we make there, that our women make there.
Mother-daughter aprons.
Yes.
If I remember from Allie telling me
Good.
that, right?
That's great memory. Mommy and Me aprons, and we're able to pay the women there a daily wage.
That's wonderful.
They make less than $1 a day wage, but we are able to, to ensure that for them on an ongoing basis. And it's been neat trying to market it here and see how that's taken off, and we're excited.
Now, your rooftop conversations with, tell me his name again.
Vianney. Yes.
Now, and he said he was Muslim.
Right.
Did he decide to convert, or is he?
He did.
He did.
When he asked me all kinds of questions about Christianity, and I just shared with him the love of God, and that night we prayed, and he had brought his Muslim brothers along to hear too, and I didn't think I'd ever see any of them again.
Right.
And about 6 months later, I heard from Vianney, and he was in war-torn South Sudan on a mission trip, leading youth to Christ there. And so on that rooftop, his life totally changed. And so he's now in seminary. My husband Bobby and I love him so dearly and have helped him to be able to go back to school.
How old was he when you met him?
He was 18 at the time. So now he is our executive director. They're running the Vine, and that was 4 years ago. But he is brilliant, really, and we have a team of just amazing young men and women that are really running our program there. They're all credentialed social workers or program directors, and so we do just great work in the field.
How do you combat? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, please.
How do you combat the corruption there? How do you deal with it?
Well, we pray a lot. I will tell you that. And I think the thing that I did, to be honest with you, is it took me 1 solid year to be able to trust my team there. I gave them very little. And you know how the scripture says, if you're faithful with little, then you can be trusted to be faithful with much. And so for 1 year, I barely gave them anything because I was testing. I was wanting to see what they were made of, what their character was. And then the second year, we increased a little, and we started taking on some new projects and some new things. But we're now into our third year. And now, because we're so close and we've had this track record behind us, I see their hearts. I know them intimately, and I'm able to now trust. We also have a governing board and an advisory board and a Ugandan board. So we have a lot of checks and balances that keep everything on track.
Wonderful.
Both financially and emotionally and spiritually, because it takes a toll on them, the kind of work they're trying to do.
Well, isn't there? I mean, there's a high number of children-led families there.
Yes.
What is the story about that? What is the story about that?
A great point. Well, in the area that we service, 80% of the families are child-headed, which means kids are raising kids. And so, some of the orphans that we've been able to take in, one was Mary. She was 13 years old, and she was raising 3 younger siblings by herself. They were eating by just digging out rotten potatoes from fields around the village. And she had heard about the Vine and didn't know any of us personally, but she walked 18 miles to get to the Vine offices in town. And this breaks my heart. There was no one in the office that day. They were out in the field working. So she walked back home, and you know what? She did it again. 18 miles a second time. And, that's 36 miles round trip twice. And the second time we were able to take her in, and we call it a rescue when it's that desperate, take her in and her siblings. And they're now so happy. They're in school. They have, full room and board and medical care and a future. So that's what we
Future
do.
plans for that community. You've got big plans.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And that's really why we're hosting Hopeful.
This is your first event?
Our first event, our first fundraising event of this
Looks like it's
magnitude.
going to be a smash.
Oh, thank you so much. We're hoping to, we've already met with land brokers there, and in the area that we're in, there's really no other entity that's really coming in trying to do something on the large scale that we are. It's very rural, and we have plans to build our own school in our own children's home so that we don't have to say no to anybody. Oh, we don't have room.
How far do y'all have to take them to school currently?
Oh, 40 minutes. It's a 40, and they live there. You know, that's kind of the school system there. Kids that don't have families, they board at the schools, and that's the way school in Uganda runs. But we want our own home so that they're getting that love and care when they're done with classes in the day. We'll run our own school. We'll also have a community center where our women can come to work daily at the Vine. Instead of just being able to host sewing camps periodically, we'll be able to have a full-time sewing staff and then have our own church as well right there on our own land.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
The education in general, I gather, is kind of limited and poor in Uganda.
Yes.
And therefore, their economic status, too, must be a lesser developed country.
Right.
How do you feel like y'all are making impact on that?
Oh, wow. Well, so many ways. Actually, education was only mandated about 15 years ago there. So often, you know, people would just go through their whole life with no education. And believe it or not, they have a really rigorous system of education. Once the kids are able to go to school, everyone has to pay fees there to go to school. They have a public school education, but it is just horrible compared to the schools where, you know, you pay the fee and you go. So the kids, when they actually get a chance, they get a great education, and then are able to go into professions such as, you know, nursing, or some of our kids want to be doctors or leaders of the country. Really, they want to be politicians. They want to be directors of businesses. And so, you know, without education, obviously, they can't do any of that. And so our hope is to impact the community of Uganda in that way. Plus, we hope that some of our kids will come back and work at the Vine and help take that to the next generation.
What type of influence was the education? Was it from the English, from England, the UK? What was their standard that they based their education?
Yes, English is the national language, and it's also what children learn to read in. But the problem is there's so many tribal dialects that even within one community, you might have 4 or 5 different tribal dialects. So when I go there and I teach or preach, I always have to have a translator, and they're used to that. That's how they function. You know, they're used to hearing translations into 2-3 languages. But amazingly, most kids there know 2 or 3 languages. It's remarkable.
That is remarkable.
It's remarkable. Yeah.
See,
So once again, the event is November the 20th. It's at the Hotel Derrick. It starts at 6 p.m. With cocktails and silent auction, and moves into dinner and speakers and entertainment. And there's still some tables available. And the best way is to go to hopefulevent.com.
That's right.
Is it-
That's right. All one word.
No dot.
No dot, right, and 2 L's, so bad spelling, I know, from a teacher standpoint.
HOPEFULL.
Right.
Event,
.com.
not S, but event.
Event,
Hopefulevent.com.
right.
It's the first time.
Right.
Believe me, you want to be part of this any small way, whether it's a ticket, whether it's a silent auction item, whether it's some time you can volunteer to help out, or just get a hold of Gary and say, hey, this is something I want to be part of, and my heart's with you, and the Spirit moved me, and how can I help? If not for this year, next year, for sure.
We'd love that.
We're coming up just a couple weeks away, huh?
Right.
On this event. And I noticed that Bobby is a big fan of yours besides your husband, and gave you a lot of help this weekend. Did I see that on Facebook?
You did. Good for you. You are.
Were you doing Facebook in Braille?
He did this, he did that.
He did. He is amazing. I had speaking Saturday and then twice yesterday on Sunday, just really promoting Uganda and the Vine. And he is, we really do support each other. Me with his career in baseball, pro ball, and then he is such a support to me with all that I do in ministry.
You mentioned everything in the Facebook caption, what he did like in one day.
Exactly. Yeah. From support for my speaking to raking pine needles from the yard
bless
to making dinner, all of it.
That sounds like great teamwork.
Yes,
It's like
I think it
both
takes
of y'all
that.
are team players,
Yes.
not just your
I
husband.
hope to meet
Yeah.
him at the event.
You
as well.
will.
I'm
You
he'll
sure
be
will.
there.
And our kids, our two younger kids. Well, no, excuse me. My son is in the movie industry in Hollywood, and so he's flying in for it. And then our oldest daughter's in the movie industry as well.
Really?
She works for Disney films, and she will fly in too. So you'll meet the whole family.
What does she do there at Disney Films?
It used to be George Lucas Films, and she's worked on several of his movies. And now that it's Disney, she's working on all kinds of projects.
Does she film or edit or what?
She's
is
in
her-
production.
Production.
Right? So she's a.
Faded jeans, huh?
It must be to some degree.
Or the
We seem to be
pants
out
or the
front.
shirts
And
or
I'm
one of
thinking
the,
about
Yeah.
Roman and Reese, the jeans they have, for
the
Right.
athletics and stuff.
Right, right. I think Roman for sure will no doubt be an athlete.
Oh,
You've met him.
He came in with his basketball.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And his little Lego basketball players.
Oh, that's cute.
Sat right here.
Oh,
He's so cute.
very
Watch
good.
went off. Dad, come on.
Yeah. The potty watch. Yes.
Yeah, I think I read about that the Vine is helping address the population dealing with the younger women having babies. Young now, how young are they when they? A lot of them.
Oh wow! It can be as young as 10.
Gosh.
10, and a lot of the younger girls in such dire poverty are sold off as child brides.
Oh, gosh.
So you'll see just these young girls. The average number of children that women in Uganda have is 6 to 7.
Oh, my.
Because birth control isn't publicized there, and they often don't know about it, and sometimes they're just seen as property. So whether they belong to one man or several men, polygamous marriages are very common there as well. So we feel that the rescue we do is not only for kids but for women, just rescuing them often from just such poverty where they cannot provide for these children that they now have. And men often will take them as a bride, but then leave them, and so they're left with all these children and no
Terrible.
way to provide for them. So that we really
Breaks your
see
heart
that
to
as
leave,
our.
doesn't it?
Pardon me, to
It
leave.
breaks your heart to leave.
Yeah,
You're proud of your accomplishments, but there's so much more.
It's always that is always
It's
the
moving a
case,
mountain.
and that's why we just have to trust God that He is doing what we're not able to, and we love our team there in Uganda. They're 24/7.
After the event, how can somebody be of assistance?
Yes.
Beyond the hopefulevent.com.
Right.
Is there
Great
another
question.
website
Oh, yeah.
that they can go to if they want to donate their time and somebody donated shoes, did I understand? Athletic
Yes,
shoes. Did
we-
Maurice tell me that?
Yes, we had a gentleman from Dallas, an organization called Millions for One. He donated 12,500 pairs of shoes.
Wow.
So with that, we can we can give
all
most of the district, shoes.
And how many people out there may not even be able to get to the event, but have things they can donate and ways they can help?
Right.
You know?
On our website, thevineuganda.org, there are countless
thevineuganda.org.
ways.
Good.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Get involved for your business. If you're a small business owner or even a startup entrepreneur, we know you just can't write a $5,000 or $10,000 check, but there are ways you can help this organization and help those women and children in this community in Uganda get a better life. I know the project's right here within our community, but this is very special. You can hear about it, and I know they'd appreciate your help, not just for the event, but long after. And Harry, you can count on Barbara and I for all future events and anything else
absolutely.
you need.
Thank you.
All you got to do is ask.
That's
What a
it.
pleasure.
You got
It's just a
carte
pleasure, pleasure to know you
We
both.
like reaching
Thank
out.
you.
We have big hearts. We like doing for others, and
Beautiful.
we got sent an angel when
Maurice we met Maurice.
someone
Wonderful.
showed up.
Special.
wants to do for us, and we want to do for him, and we want to do for
You got a
Uganda.
mutual admiration society
Yeah.
going on.
That's wonderful.
Tell me, there is a motto or slogan, something about that's about $40. Tell me that whole thing that you set up, that came up with, and something about giving $40.
Oh,
Can you
yes.
elaborate about that?
With the child sponsorship, yeah, just that, you know, we're really not out to change the world. We're out to change a village, you know. And sometimes when we think about the world, the needs are so overwhelming.
Yeah.
But with the $40 that we put straight back 100%, you know, into the people of Uganda, you can change the life of an entire community. And so that's a powerful thing. Yeah,
That's TrueVineUganda.com.
the vineuganda.org,
Why don't you
actually.
say TheVineUganda.com.
Right.
And that's it. So it's if you give us $40 a month, and you can change the.
We can change the landscape of an entire village. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It is.
And then of course it never stops. It's just like the ripple effect.
That's right.
Because in turn, if you can change them, they can help and change others.
Exactly.
It
And
becomes
you know,
self-supporting.
that's the thing, Barbara. We have no desire to go in and just be looked at as, you know, the Western world comes into the rescue. Our greatest pleasure is to build that community up so that they are leading one another and leading the change within. And that's why we have a full Ugandan staff and a Ugandan board that, of course, I'm the president of the Vine, but I love the fact that Ugandans are deciding for Ugandans what is
wonderful.
best for the community.
That's great.
Well, God bless you for all you've done for the Ugandan community and all you're doing to help change the world in your own way, starting with your own corner there in Uganda.
Beautiful.
And one more time, it's the vineuganda.org.
VineUganda.org.
And then
Yes.
hopeful event
With two L's.
dot
No
com.
dot.
Com.
Yeah, hope, HOPEFULL.com.
And hopefully we'll see you on November the 20th
Right.
at the Hotel Derrick, 6 p.m. And be there. Bid
be
on the
square.
silent auction
That's
items.
right.
Well, think a couple of quick silent auction items going to be on there.
Oh.
We mentioned.
Wow, you just will not believe.
Okay.
Today we just got a villa in Dominican Republic donated.
Wow.
So some are like that, and some are just amazingly useful, like the wonderful offering that you all have given us, and some are just precious. Like we actually have a silent auction company that's come in and is really unique to Houston, providing a lot of items that sports fans or anybody will love.
Plus, they have the opportunity to get maybe autographs from these athletes that are going to be there.
Yes. It will
Exciting.
really, I think it will be something for everyone, really.
Excellent.
Any New York Yankee stuff? Because
Well,
my first game was I was 10 years old, was at Yankee Stadium, Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra. I was 10 years old. I'd never been to a place like that, and all these
That's
all these
amazing.
baseball cards are playing. All these guys on
Yeah.
baseball cards. It was just
Well,
amazing.
Bobby filmed a commercial with Mickey Mantle, so maybe if you get Bobby's autograph, that might be the closest to Mickey
That's
you can.
close enough.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
We're about out of time, aren't we, Jerome? Yes. Yeah, about out of time. Been a great show. Thank you to
Thank you
Craig
so
Klein,
much.
Sales Nexus, right? And thank you to Tony Noun.
SalesNexus.com, CRM, and email marketing campaign. Tony Noun, autoshopper.biz,
Right.
and Paul Marcus, affordablesearches.com.
Amongst others. And
Amongst
Ron
others.
Coleman for the videography today, and
Jerome Davis,
on the keyboard.
engineer extraordinaire.
Minus a mouse, because I
That's
forgot
right,
it. I
that's
can't
right.
see you. That's
Me.
that didn't know.
And
Thank you, Gary. We're looking forward to being at your
Thank you
event.
so
If there's
much.
something
Thank
else
you.
we can do, you let us know.
Thank you.
And it's been a great show today, and we'll be back on Wednesday with Menachem, what's his name? Manny Magid, author of Who Knew Not Joseph.
that's right.
That's right.
It's going to be a historically based book that he's written.
Beautiful.
Took over 20 some odd years to finish this great work of.
Not to
Oh,
mention
how
be my
neat.
doctor.
Yes,
That's a
his
whole other
doctorate.
thing. Anyway, it's
neat.
been a great show. Thank you very much for tuning in. And you've been listening to Small Business Magazine Talk Show
On the SBT Magazine Radio Network.